You were in that conversation. You heard everything. You noticed the way her voice changed when she said it was fine. You caught the pause before he answered. You saw the smile that didn't reach the eyes. And you said nothing, not because you had nothing to say, because you had too much, because you already knew how it would land. You already saw 3 moves ahead. And you decided, quietly, privately, that silence was smarter. Everyone else was talking. You were watching. And nobody noticed. They never do. The world mistakes your silence for emptiness. Science says it's the opposite. Stay until the end, because what you're about to learn might completely change how you see yourself. You weren't always this quiet. There was a time when you spoke up freely, when you said the thing you were thinking the moment you thought it. You were curious, open, loud even, until one day something changed. Maybe you said something true and the room went cold. Maybe you got excited about something and someone laughed in a way that wasn't kind. Maybe you trusted someone with a real thought and watched them use it against you later. It didn't have to happen often. Once was enough. Your brain, specifically designed to protect you, filed that moment away, labeled it, speaking costs more than it's worth. And slowly, without deciding to, you started watching more than you spoke. John Bowlby, the psychologist who defined attachment theory, found that early experiences of emotional unsafety don't just hurt us in the moment. They rewire how we move through the world. You didn't become quiet because something was wrong with you. You became quiet because something was working. Here's the part no one explains to you. Highly observant people process information differently. There's a trait researchers call sensory processing sensitivity, studied extensively by psychologist Elaine Aron. In plain terms, your brain absorbs more detail, more nuance, more subtext. Where someone else hears words, you hear the hesitation underneath them. Where someone else sees a reaction, you see what caused it. That depth of processing takes energy. So while other people are filling silence with words, your brain is already several layers deep, cross-referencing, pattern matching, reading the room. You're not slow to speak. You're processing at a level most people never reach. A 2015 study published in Brain and Behavior found that highly sensitive people show significantly more activity in regions of the brain linked to awareness, empathy, and decision-making. In other words, your silence isn't absence. It's your mind doing the work others don't even know needs doing. Here's what I want you to actually hear. While most people speak to think, you think before you speak. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between reaction and wisdom. Most people in that meeting were performing confidence. You were the one who actually understood what was happening. Most people in that argument were fighting to be heard. You were the one who already saw how it would end. You don't talk to fill space. You wait until you have something real. And when you do speak, people lean in because somewhere, instinctively, they sense that your words were chosen, that you don't waste them. The quietest person in the room is often the one who understands it best. That's not a flaw you need to fix. That's a rare kind of intelligence most people spend their whole lives trying to develop and never quite reach. But I have to be honest with you, because you deserve that. There's a difference between choosing silence and hiding behind it. Healthy quiet says, I'm watching, I'm thinking, I'll speak when it matters. Unhealthy quiet says, I already know it won't go well, so why try? One is wisdom, the other is a prediction disguised as a boundary. If you've stopped sharing your real thoughts entirely, not just in crowded rooms but in quiet ones too, that's worth sitting with. Observation becomes isolation when you use it to stay permanently safe from being truly known. You can be perceptive and still let people in. Those two things are not opposites. Here's the truth. Your silence is not awkwardness. It's not social failure. It's not something to apologize for or perform your way out of. It is the natural result of a mind that takes the world seriously. You notice what others miss. You hold what others drop. You see people, really see them, in ways they don't even see themselves. That is a gift. Even when it feels like a burden, even when it makes you feel like the odd one out, even when the room moves on and you're still sitting with the one true thing nobody said. You were built for depth in a world addicted to noise. Don't shrink that. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who actually notice. Tell me in the comments, What's one thing you observed recently that everyone else completely missed? If this felt like someone finally understood you, subscribe to Truth Pills. We decode the psychology behind the traits the world never quite has words for.